Welcome to Cross Talk, a place where we discuss different topics about our day-to-day situations, travels, and non-travel related. This blog/podcast is affiliated with Crossart.com, which is CRXSSART.com, and Crossarttravels.com, which is CROSSARTTRAVELS.com, which is where you find all this content. So check out Crossart Travels for all your travel picks, blog, podcasts, and more. All right, everybody. I sound really bad today. My voice is like super hoarse from being sick, and I'm actually recovering. So, but we didn't want to stop this podcast today, so we decided to go for it. But today we have a really interesting conversation, a really long one. And I'm sitting here with the beautiful
Anasta.
And we are going to be talking about plant-based. Yeah, I know, plant-based.
Why you got really eyes like that, though?
Yeah, but
I see how you really feel.
I know, right? In all actuality, there's actually so much to talk about. So I would first want you to introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm. Hi, everyone. I'm Anasta. I am integrative, holistic nutritionist. I am also a laboratory scientist and currently still a student.
And my understanding is you have a degree in?
I have a degree in biology.
Uh-huh.
I minored in public health and education. I've been a teacher, I want to say, for almost 10 years now. Started off from being a teacher's assistant all the way to a full-blown teacher, and then currently I'm a medical student, and in the meantime I am a nutritionist as I finish school.
Okay. What kind of teacher are you?
Science, history.
Oh, I hate those.
Why?
Science and history?
Who would you be without history?
A historian.
Boo!
I'll be telling people my history.
Okay. Okay, well, you are from the motherland, so you probably would know more. Just
yeah. So, most important, what is your nationality?
I'm Haitian. That's it.
Yeah, heard me try to like.
You tried it.
Yeah, but the voice isn't allowing it to happen today. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it, right? What is plant-based?
So basically, plant-based diet, because you can't just say plant-based. So,
okay.
Plant-based diet is basically a diet like a vegan diet, except that they're not as extreme as vegans are. Being on a plant-based diet means that you don't consume meat, whether if it's our fish or animal, or like meats like beef, cows and stuff like that. You consume more of a plant-based like nutrition in the sense of like your rice. For example, wild rice would be a plant-based rice that you would consume. Quinoa, a lot of fruits and vegetables. Things are from the ground, the earth itself, that is cultivated from the earth. That's what you eat mostly.
Okay. So just to make that simple for everybody.
Yeah. So let me redo that part
plants.
again. So I'm gonna redo that again. So. Plant-based diet. Being on a plant-based diet means that you are a person that do not consume meat, flesh-eating foods such as fish or meat. You consume more of a plant-based nutrition, meaning that most of your food comes from the ground itself or from a tree, from nature itself. You're not consuming anything that is laboratory made or hybrid made or artificially science made. Yeah.
Okay. So, is plant-based vegetarian technically?
Not really, but semi. Because you can say you're vegetarian and you eat fish, or and
isn't that, I don't know, I'm probably just wrong. Isn't that like Presbyterian?
Pescatarian, yeah. Those are. Excuse me.
I think Presbyterian is a church cow. Guys,
why you say that though?
I totally screwed that one up.
No, they're pescatarian people, and these people usually eat seafood type diet. Like,
Okay.
that is the only meat that they would consume because this is where they're at on their journey as of that moment. I wouldn't consider vegetarian plant-based because plant-based is specific. Like, you're not even eating white rice. You're eating rice that is plant produced. White rice is not from a plant. It's man-made, and to a degree. The rice that you would be eating would be wild rice, which is a plant rice that you can literally get from a plant.
Wait, what? Rice is not plant?
White rice isn't.
What?
Originally. If I'm speaking from indigenous culture, it's not original.
Oh.
Yeah. What's original to indigenous culture is grains.
Oh.
Historically speaking.
I'm learning something new.
Yeah, historically speaking.
So we shouldn't eat rice?
I'm not saying you shouldn't eat rice. You can consume rice, but I'm saying, like, if you look at white rice is flour, like, it's been bleached to a degree, so you're not even getting the nutritional aspect of the white rice. You're basically eating mostly bleach, and then whatever else that is added onto it.
So rice should be black?
Wild rice isn't black. It's black when it's not cooked. And then it turns into this grayish, brownish kind of rice, why is it called wild rice? Like, it's not, unless you add mushrooms.
It's Mexican.
No, okay, fine.
All right, so what is the difference between plant-based, vegetarian, or vegan?
Plant-based, okay, so like I said, plant-based is basically consuming food from the ground, earth, nature, trees, stuff of that nature. Vegetarian are people who mostly eat, consume a lot more vegetables type food, like ground foods, which is similar to plant-based. But like I said, people can say they're vegetarian and still dabble into seafood, you know what I mean? And then still call themselves that, but that's not necessarily what it is. Vegans are a little more on the extreme because they go as far as not even wearing animal-based product or using any animal-based product in terms of, like, their dish soap, what they brush their teeth with. Like, it becomes a whole holistic lifestyle type thing for vegans, in my opinion.
That's interesting. Can you be plant-based for a day? Like, I just feel like eating broccoli today.
You can be plant-based all day, every day, an hour, however long you choose to. It's all about you. Because I feel like, for me, in my experience, I find that nutrition is a personal thing. And when you start to understand the science of food, you start to understand your body more in terms of what it needs, and you're not eating for necessarily pleasures, but you're eating based on what your body needs in terms of energy, so that you can function.
Your body don't need meat?
Your body don't need meat to survive. You don't need meat to survive.
What about crave?
You will crave it. It's not to say you won't crave it. I oftentimes, when I work with clients who eat meat, who's having a hard time transitioning out, I always recommend a Mediterranean diet, which is they eat on a seasonal, cyclical form, meaning that during the winter times, during the cold times, they eat meat because that's what's here presently, because nothing is producing, like in terms of, like, nature. So you don't have access to certain fruits, you don't have access to certain vegetables. Like, it depends on where you are.
Okay.
And I find that helps people more in terms, instead of going full on cold turkey. Yeah, that's it. I don't think you need meat to survive. You can survive without meat.
The hard thing is, I'm actually thinking right now, I don't think I've ever craved plants. You crave things like French fries?
What you mean, crave plants?
Like, you crave meat. Like, you crave, like, I feel like eating turkey today. Or I feel like you even crave pasta sometimes. I don't feel like eating pizza, but I've never felt like eating a salad.
Wow. Well, I have. Like, then again, that tells me a lot about your chemistry.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, your taste palette and what you feed yourself on a daily basis, because your body in essence doesn't even have an idea of what it's like to be on a plant-based diet. Because it's used to eating and consuming more heavy foods such as meat, pasta, pizza, these foods sort of kind of slows you down in a sense, as opposed to eating something that's of salad. And like I said before many times to you, that salad doesn't necessarily mean a lettuce. You can have different forms of salads. There are different types of greens out there that are super beneficial for your body, super nutritional for your health and your overall well-being, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Okay. Why plant-based? What are the benefits of plant-based?
Are you asking for me or in general?
Like, just in general.
In general, okay. So,
and for you. So.
Okay, so I'll answer both. In general, I work with a lot of clients who either are post-ops or pre-op, meaning sometimes some patients wouldn't be able to go through surgery unless they lose weight. In order for them to lose weight, then they would have to meet with me or a dietitian, and we would have to sit down and have a conversation based off create meal plans in terms of what this person needs to eat in order for them to lose weight. Most of the time, most people think that losing weight means going to the gym immediately. No, it starts off with your mind and your tongue. Changing your palate is going to be the most challenging part, because it's a chemical thing that's happening and you need to undo everything that you've been doing for years. And
you mean the palate and your tongue, right?
Yeah, your taste palate. Yeah. They have to change. That's the only way we're going to get result. You got to be serious about it in terms of what you're putting into your body in order for you to get the results. So oftentimes when I would meet clients or patients, it would be pre-op, post-op, or clients outside, and depending on what it is, I recommend, or I sit down and we have a discussion. We have a discussion basically talking about what is it that's preventing you from eating it. Is it because you don't like it? Is it because you're not used to it? Is it because it's strange? Is it because it doesn't taste good to you? It's not familiar. You don't know how to make it. What is it? Because these are a series of questions that are important. And also to what is your household like? Because if you are trying to do something that's different, everyone in your house is bombarded constantly with junk food, it's going to be a very challenging experience for you. And ultimately it will be emotional, because most people eat out of emotions, in my opinion. And as for me, the question was,
why did you decide to be plant-based in general?
As for me personally, I decided to go on a plant-based diet. This wasn't the first time. This was my second time in it, and I stuck with it because I realized the benefits that comes with being on a plant-based diet. The first time I transitioned into a plant-based diet, I want to say I was in my early years in undergrad, and that had something to do with my health. And I was like, okay, oh hell no, we're gonna fix this. I felt like I was overweight. It wasn't working for me. Slowly as time went by, the weight crept back on again, but because I wasn't eating properly. And then what happened was, I want to say about 4 years ago, I got sick, and I want to say it was bad, and I had gained a whole lot more weight than ever in my life. I live down south, and anyone knows when you live down south, you can't turn away food because it tastes so good down there, in my opinion. So in essence, I would say that ultimately with the lifestyle, it changed my thinking, it changed my mind. There's just so much benefits to it in terms of energy. Energy is the number one thing that you would definitely notice is energy. You wouldn't even need 8 full hours of sleep anymore, because your body's now moving at a pace that is different from what it's used to, and you're literally changing your DNA on a cellular level based off the foods that you're consuming.
Okay. Going back, you said you were plant-based first, and then you cheated?
Not cheated, I fell off.
You fell off?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you cheat with? What was the first non-plant stuff that went into your mouth?
Chips.
Chips?
Yes, it started off with chips.
Were you craving the chips?
No, because I was broke and it was what I could afford.
Okay.
I was an undergrad student. I was broke and it was what I could afford. And I would say, let me see, burgers, because they were on the dollar menu. Anybody who knows, listen, if you're ever in school and you know, you ain't making money, you're going to eat whatever you can afford. And so it became a habit to come off. Like, it became a habit, and it was very difficult to come off of them. And it got sick all over again, you know? Okay. So ultimately that in essence taught me that this was what was making me sick. And if I kept going with that, it would have done even more damage inside of me before. Like, who knows, God forbid, it could have.
Chips is plant-based.
Chips is not no plant-based. Chips is it's not even food. It's not food.
Oh my God.
It's not food. Lies you say.
I know. I when you said the palate thing, I kind of just thought about something. They should be like a medicine you take that just changes your taste buds to make you eat more veggies, just in case you need to lose weight.
There is a supplement that helps, that destroys, I know, sugar. Oh. So I know that, like I said, most people are crackheads off sugar. I don't think people understand what sugar is and how it's consumed. I think people think of it like, oh, it's sugar you're just pouring into your drink. It's not those sugar. It's also sugar from your rice, your white rice, sugar from your pasta, sugar from your bread. So these are the sugars that you are consuming on a consistent basis. And what happens ultimately, it gives you a high. It gives you a high. You don't realize that until you start to change your diet. Do you realize, I was a crackhead on sugar, basically, you know what I mean? So that's that.
That's crazy. There should be like a recovery locations you can go to where you're like, hi, I'm Randy.
I wish if only that high. My name is Randy, and I am a sugar crackhead.
Sugar crackhead.
Wouldn't that be something?
I need sugar. That would be awesome. Are there a lot of like plant-based eaters out there, and do you guys identify, like, do you introduce yourself as a plant-based, like, hi, my name is Dwa and I'm plant-based?
No, I did not introduce myself. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm a plant-based eater. No. Yeah. Usually people assume.
It's an accomplishment, though.
I think for me, wherever I go, people assume like I don't eat meat. They just assume automatically they know.
How?
I don't know. Maybe because how I look. I'm not sure exactly. But I would go into restaurants and they would know. Like one time, I remember I was with my friends. We were hanging out. It was a nice little restaurant in Utica. It's a Haitian restaurant, and they make vegan plant-based dishes there. And I had ordered what did I order? Something with crap, whatever you call it. Yeah. But I didn't want it with eggs, and they made mine with eggs. And I was eating, and I was like, oh, this don't taste right. And so I called the young lady, and I told her, and she was like, I told them, I know you don't eat no eggs. They don't listen to me. You look like you don't eat no eggs.
Oh my God.
Like again, what happens is when you change your diet.
Do you feel like that's like an insult though when they say that to you?
No, not at all, because it's an energy thing. So people would pick up on it because like I said, when you change your diet, it changes who you are as a person. It changes your whole vibration. You are not operating on the same frequency as someone who consumes meat on a daily basis. There's no way. Like, you could put that person's brain underneath the scan and someone who consumes more of a plant-based lifestyle, you would see a big difference. You would also see a difference in terms of their blood panel. Like, if you draw their blood, you'll see completely difference in terms of cellular function and cellular structure.
Let somebody say, I know you don't eat chicken. It's on. I'll go crazy.
For you?
Yeah.
I don't get offended. I'll be like, yeah, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, because it make it seem like you don't, like, if somebody say you don't eat chicken, it make you look like you're skinny, like you're like, dude, like, you're telling me I need chicken in my life? Like, come on. It's like, it's offensive. I'll be tight.
You would be tight?
Yeah.
Not me. Not me. I'll be good. I'll be chilling.
Like, you know. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that later, about the stereotypes.
Okay.
You know, because there's a lot of, like, stigmas out there.
That is true. Yeah. I didn't realize that until it became a lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
Like, people do, yeah, it's crazy.
So, the next question was, where do you meet these people? Like, how do you gather with other plant-based eaters? Like, where? Is there like a restaurant that you guys go to? You know how they have like the gay bars and the lesbian bars? Is there a plant-based bar for you guys?
Very funny. I don't know about plant-based bars, but I do know, I meet a lot of people through different restaurants I go to. I go to a lot of different restaurants by myself with people, and I meet people who are like-minded like me there. Yeah. I also attend events, and I host workshops and seminars. So therefore, sometimes my family members who attend or friends who attend, they also bring someone else, and so therefore I meet new people. I attend different events that goes on in like communities. In farmers market, I meet people there too. Like it depends on where I'm going. And then wherever I'm at, people are always interested in terms of what I'm eating, because they're like, ooh, your food look good, or ooh, it smells good. What are you eating? So people are intrigued by it, so they tend to ask questions and I answer.
I'm assuming in a lot of these events, people bring other people that they're trying to convert. You know, it's like church. You know, when you bring somebody that doesn't go to church, you try.
I don't know about that. I don't try to convert people, because, like I said, like you and I, we've had off this mic conversations. You cannot change no one.
Yeah.
People have to want the change for themselves, and they have to want to be consistent for themselves.
Yeah.
Like you cannot force anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. My goal is to bring knowledge. My goal is to educate. My goal is to inform you. You know what I mean? Things that you don't know of. Because sometimes you think that you know something and you really don't understand the whole picture of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you guys just don't gather and just try to prey on the meat eater and try to get the devil out of them?
I don't participate in those type of rituals. No.
You're not throwing the holy water at them?
No, I'm not throwing no holy water or oil on them. No.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Okay. So now we're going to go to types of diet, okay? How do you incorporate your Haitian tradition to plant-based cooking?
So incorporating, it depends on the meal that I'm making.
Okay.
For example.
And not to cut you off, the reason I asked that question is a lot of people cook based on what they know in general and based on their heritage or wherever they're from. So like for an example, if I know how to cook African food and I wanted to change from cooking, let's just say meat-based African food to plant-based, I will still incorporate the same things. I'm assuming like the same spices and the same, whatever I'm putting in. So how do you like handle that? Like how, when people taste your food, are they able to say like, oh, this is Haitian food and this is a Haitian plant-based food, or this is like, get it?
I get it.
Yeah. Like, are they able to identify, or is just like you created a whole new line? I don't know, like a whole new kind of cooking that is kind of like traditionally different from everything else?
I do both. So for me, I can incorporate my Haitian tradition, certain types of food with a plant-based diet. I can incorporate both of them together, and I do separate because it depends on what am I eating for, and what is it that I'm trying. What's my goal here? What's my point here? Because when you make a meal prep for someone, there's a goal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so let's say, for example, I have a patient. She's pre-op. Before she even have her operation, she needs to lose the weight. In order for her to lose the weight, I need to understand what is making her sick. What part of her body that's ill, I need to have a whole diagnostic of what's going on, and blood panels for me to really, really know what's going on, even on the cellular level.
Okay.
And then energetically, I would pay attention. I pay attention to certain things that people naturally do that they don't know that they do. So it tells me, body language tells me a whole lot more than what they're seeing with their mouth.
Okay.
And so let's say, for example, I'm with a patient who has diabetes. Immediately, their diet is going to be immediate, like raw foods. Yeah. You're not eating anything cooked. Now, the thing is, it's not an easy thing to do because let's say, for example, this patient is 40 years old or 45 years old. Okay. This patient's been eating garbage basically for 45 years of their life. Now, to unpack, undo all of that is going to take some work. It's going to take some deep work, and that work, like I said, it's emotional. You will cry, you will be angry, because you literally are going through a detox.
Yeah.
And you also have to understand there are parasites inside you that lives and they starve. And so when you don't give them the sugars, the flour, the sodas, the burgers, what happens is like things starts to fall out in your skin. So you may get like rashes, marks, or like you start to feel dehydrated in some way, shape, or form, or you just start to feel blah. It's because now your body's going through a detox. You're going through withdrawal, and withdrawal is a very painful process to go through. It is not something that that's easy, because what's happening inside of you is change. It's changing, and you literally are changing your DNA structure to something completely different that it hasn't consumed ever in your entire life. So in essence, I hope I answered the question right.
Yeah, you did.
In essence, I would say wait, I forget the question.
Next question.
No, I want to finish it.
No, the question was, do you incorporate Haitian tradition into plant-based?
Yeah, so basically I answered. Yeah, so that would be that. But like in terms of incorporating my Haitian traditional meals, I don't necessarily always do, simply because it wouldn't benefit my clients in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Simply because a lot of their foods are unhealthy too. Okay. So one thing I would have them consume is the black rice, because of the mushroom that it's made with. But even in that black rice, I would make it with wild rice as opposed to using regular white rice, or even brown rice, in my opinion.
Or Mexican rice.
Or Mexican rice. You want to say that? Or that too.
Yeah, that's cool. So I guess based on what you said, based on the clients, you're able to identify what they need. Like, this person needs some lettuce in their life. Yes,
I have to create a meal plan, and it's not only meal plans. It's also like supplements and herbs, and if they're on medication, it's like a series of things, because you have to balance them out. Because in my opinion, food is medicine.
Yeah.
But the right food is your medicine. That's the thing. Because you can just say, I'm eating healthy, and then you throw in a chip there and you say yourself, chips are vegan. No, it's not.
Oh, God.
Chips ain't vegan. They are not vegan. You did.
Chips is vegan.
It's people like you.
I know. All right. So I know you answered this, but I still have to ask it anyway, because people want to know.
Sure.
Why change your diet?
Me personally?
No, in general.
In general.
Yeah.
Changing your diet changes your mind and your perception of your reality around you. Meaning that when you change your diet, it's no longer just about your flesh, your bad habits. Now you're left to face yourself in the mirror, in a sense, because it's like, you can't blame no one but yourself if your leg gets chopped off because of diabetes. You can't blame no one but yourself if suddenly you develop cancer in some way, shape, or form, simply because something that you had previous knowledge to, but you choose to ignore, and now you are in this particular predicament, and it's hurting you. Instead of doing something that is positive to change your life, you choose to stay in what you know because it's comfortable. When you change your diet, it moves you out of the space of being comfortable and pushes you into a purposeful lifestyle. Meaning that the way you used to view probably your relationships with people and how you interact with them will no longer be the same, because now you would have developed you would be a whole new person, literally. And that new person would have a different type of attitude, in essence.
I would say the hard part about that is the society you live in, because I feel like getting a lot of like plant-based or vegan or whatever, it's kind of very difficult. I'm pretty sure now they have a lot of restaurants that cater to it, but there isn't a lot of places that also cater to those kind of things, that it's very difficult to do.
What do you mean?
It's an example of this is, I tried to be vegetarian for one day, just like, and it was really difficult because everywhere I went to didn't really have, salads or anything that would help me out, you know. For an example, McDonald's. I know McDonald's has the salad that they have, but after looking at it, and the meat that they incorporated is really bad in the salad. Even if you do take it out the meat, like the dressing, everything is just so salty and it's so like the sodium is like so bad. It's like, why even eat that? So sometimes even if you're trying to go somewhere or you are in a location, most likely it's very difficult to find a place to actually have decent food. You know, like today, right?
Yeah.
Right, we were looking for one place that had salad, right, initially, and we couldn't find anything in Brooklyn. Yeah, the closest was like downtown Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I feel like society plays a big part in that because.
Oh yeah.
And then sometimes I do like fruit fasting, and that I do it for a whole week. That whole week I can only consume fruits only, right? But that week is like so stressful for me because one, I have to find locations that have fruits only, right? Not only that, but a lot of like the supermarkets, like when you taste the pineapple, you can tell it's filled with all these chemicals to make it last longer.
Sure.
And then you are, you know, and then when you do find a location that has fresh fruits, they're very pricey. So it's like, why do that when I can just go to McDonald's and get like, you know, 2 for $3 or, you know, get $1 cheeseburger and I'll be good, you know? So it makes it very difficult based on your society for you to even try to be vegan or plant-based or vegetarian or anything good for your health because the society is just filled with bad things.
I agree. And I would also add that it is all by design.
Okay.
We all know like how, you know, that the hierarchies of the society is and what is set up. And it's not set up for us to be our highest or optimal self. It is set up it's like the concrete jungle, basically. Okay. You know, especially in New York City, you're constantly on the move. You're constantly hopping on a train or a bus. You have children, you got to pick them up from school. Then you have a husband and you have a family. And it's this concept of time. So the thing is that I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to make my own food. I don't have time. Because that time is consumed of driving all the way to the east side and having to come back to the south and then going to the west. And it's a cycle and it's an everyday thing. Now, thing is, you can recognize that and you call this shit for what it is. And now you know what it is. Now your next step is how do I move around it? Because the reality is you can sit here and say that I can't afford it, I don't have the time, or you figure out a plan. You sit down with yourself and you make a plan and you say little by little, you start incorporating little things at a time before you get into the space of, I think what it is that people want to go from doing one thing, like, you know, you used to eating one way and then living a certain type of lifestyle, then you want to dramatically change. It doesn't happen that way. It has to happen small, baby steps, in my opinion. So I would say in essence is that we know that it happens by design, and the fact that it's not that it's pricey, because produce, when you really think about it, produce is not expensive. It's more expensive to buy meat as opposed to like, you know, to buy like an individual fruit or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? Yeah. And create like if you buy your foods and you make your food, you will save so much more money. And on top of that too, you would also be teaching your digestive system when to rest. Another thing I would also incorporate is fasting. A lot of us are addicted to food and we do not know how to give our body rest. When we give our body rest, we make room for clarity. We make room to be able to think better, to operate better, to move better, to, like, you know, reach God in essence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I guess that goes to my next question. How do you slowly incorporate plant-based into regular lifestyle?
All right. So usually some people are cold turkey. Some people, something happened to them that propels the change. Like, you know what? I'm a part of this problem and I have to do something about it. You know, like, you know, you're the same devil that you are. You can also be the opposite. You know what I mean? Like how you hurt yourself, you can also be the person that heal yourself in essence. And so I would say, wait, I forgot the question.
How do you incorporate, slowly incorporate plant-based into your regular lifestyle?
So incorporating it slowly would mean like substituting, like reducing your rice, reducing your meat intake, and especially reducing your bread. Like people and bread is like, oh my gosh. These type of foods are food that get you stuck, that keep you stuck and block you from being creative or to even think on a higher level. I would say start to incorporate greens such as dandelions. Those are very, very good greens to help get rid of heavy metals in your body. Chlorophyll, start making your juices and add chlorophyll. Chlorophyll also get rid of heavy metals in your body. If you're a person who have, how you call those, those fillings, those metal fillings, what are they with? Mercury. They have mercury in them and they seep into your body. So when you take in chlorophyll, dandelion, a series of greens, what happens is it helps the body rid of the heavy metals that is in your body, because those heavy metals over time can add up and cause major problems.
Why no meat?
No meat because I think in my opinion, killing an animal is so spiritual in a sense, because I believe that however way this animal is killed, whether if it's in agony or however way it's killed, it goes through a process. And then it goes through another process machinery wise, and then you ingest them. And 9 out of 10 times these animals don't come from a place where they're eating healthy green grass, or like, you know what I mean? They're not from those places 9 out of 10 times. And I would say no meat, because vibrationally you're basically eating that animal pain, and then you wonder why when you eat a big plate of food that has meat or heavy rice in there, you just can't move. You sluggish and you want to go to sleep, because that vibrational energy that you just ate is basically the essence of that animal. And meat takes a very long time to get out your body, like a very, very long time. Like you could have been a vegan for 3 years and you still have meat residue inside your body still, because that's how long it takes to process it all out.
Some people would also say that plants are living things as well.
Plants are living things. That's the point, is to eat living food, because you are a living being. Animals are a living being, but how you kill the animal, and like I said, in my opinion, spiritually speaking, there are ways to kill animals, and the way that animals are killed, in essence, is not proper. There's no honor to it, and so therefore it's like the process of of a human being passing away. There's a process through the funeral, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing with the animal, in my opinion, just saying.
Okay.
And in terms of energy, like I just cannot. No, thank you.
How can you still incorporate protein in your life if you're not eating meat?
Sea moss.
I don't even know what that is.
Sea moss is an algae. It's a
sound like a church stuff.
What is with you in this church business?
It does. Well, let's go to the sea moss.
No. No, sea moss is one of the best form of protein, simply because it has 92 out of 102 minerals in it, which is directly reflects the body of the minerals that it needs. I would also incorporate what else?
I know I've heard people say beans and stuff like
beans and stuff. Yeah, you have beans, sea moss. You have what's the name of that seed? Hemp seeds could be a part of it too. So your proteins doesn't necessarily need to come from meat. Even if you get it from meat, guess what? You're not even getting the primary form of meat. Guess where they get their proteins from? The plants of the ocean, the plants on the ground. So you are consuming secondary, third, tertiary
no, that's
protein.
People eat lions.
Is true. People eat what?
Lions.
People, yeah, I would assume you would know that. Okay, I'm just saying.
Lions ain't eating. They're eating other animals.
I'm just saying, you would not. Lions of all animals. Okay, cool.
I've actually had a lion.
You ate
a lion meatball, and it was good.
You ate the balls of a lion?
No, not a balls. It's a meatball lion.
You ate the balls of a lion.
Well, that eating a lion balls is
Yeah, that is to be determined, huh? Okay, I'm gonna let you sit on that.
It makes you lions has big balls.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let you sit. Okay.
I don't even know where this is going.
Okay.
Okay, so incorporating like plant-based usually lead to eating a lot of like pasta and bread and a lot of things that you don't want to be eating. How do you prevent that? Because I know a lot of people that try to go like plant-based or vegetarian always end up eating more pasta and more rice and more potatoes than normal, right? So how do you, and they actually end up gaining more weight than when they were eating meat, you know?
Agreed.
So how, like, can you touch up on that?
All right, so you want to know how to stop eating less pasta?
Yeah,
bread?
like how do you like, because most people that, I guess the teaching is wrong, I'm assuming, right? Because when you feel like you are going plant-based or whatever, or you're going vegetarian, you're eating a lot more carbs. That's the best way to put it. Like how can you, like, if I was let's just say a new client to one of your seminars, and I say, hey, I want to stop eating meat, right? I don't know for what reason, but anyway, I want to stop eating meat, and I want to also maybe stay away from carbs, right? Like, what would you tell me? Like, how would you tell me? Like, what would your advice be to me?
Okay, so first you need to hire nutrition. Hey, I'm here.
All right.
I'm taking in clients this year. I would also say you need to hire nutrition. You need to have a goal. What is it that's wrong?
Okay.
Diagnostically, you know what I mean? How do you feel in your body? There would be a series of questions I would need to know before I can even recommend anything. But in general, I would say you need some carbs. You don't want to eliminate all your carbs. You need some carbs.
Okay.
What you want to do is incorporate a lot of juices.
Okay.
A lot of juices. So you have dandelion juice, you have your cucumber juice, you have a series of juices that you can make, and you add some flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts into certain types of juices, and those, you'll be surprised, they will hold you out throughout the day. You also consume a whole lot more water. I would also say salads. Like I said, you can have different types of salads. You don't have to have lettuce. You can have arugula. You can have dandelion in your salad. You can have spinach. You can have kale. You can have a series of greens. And even then, it's not the main thing you necessarily need to have. One of the top fruits I always recommend for people to have all the time is grapes. Grapes are so powerful. Not only just grapes, but grapes with their seeds inside of them. Foods that don't have seeds inside of them, no human being should be consuming because they're hybrid foods. And technically, hybrid foods cause infertility in both men and women. So these are things that you should be paying attention to, especially if you're a person who have not had children yet. It's important to pay attention to what you are putting into your body.
Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're on our YouTube platform. Like if you're on the Crossarttravel.com or any other social platform. Also comment below on what you think, any questions you may have, add or concerns that you may have. Remember, positive vibes all the time, all right? Cross our travels and cross our blogs and everything else. We're going to keep it moving, okay? Thanks, bye.